Thanks for tuning into our edit sesh. I'm Effie.
And I'm Dorothy, two passionate photographers from Hamilton, Ontario.
Join us as we dive into answering FAQs, share tips, and discuss life's moments, all while savoring the rich aroma of our favorite brew and working through our edit cues. Whether you're a photographer or a pal,
we're beyond happy you're joining us.
Hello.
I am muted. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Everything's been great, and I'm chilling. And then all of a sudden, as soon as you guys started, I got a little visitor. Wait. Hey, wait. Come here, Summer.
Summer.
Is Summer a dog?
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, she's so big already.
She's huge now.
Oh my gosh. I want a golden retriever. Is that a golden retriever?
Yes.
I want one so bad.
You should get one.
Well, she's very, she's very bitey.
Yeah, that's normal.
But I'm new to this whole thing, so.
Oh yeah.
Right.
My dog, when she was a puppy, she ate my glasses, and she was always chewing on metal.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Seems
not
to
over it.
She's like all the corners of wood.
Yeah. Must feel good.
That's a little bit more normal.
Yeah.
My dog had that thing that you have when you're deficient in iron.
Yes, she's eating
What's it called? Patrokin or doesn't matter.
Low in iron?
No, it's like a disease.
Anemia?
Anyway,
Hey, Summer, I'm gonna put you down, honey.
Summer.
who's the dog behind you, or is that a cat?
That's Daisy. She's in the window. She's a Labradoodle and 14.
Oh.
Well, is that when they finally chill out?
Yeah. Actually, no. She still barks at neighbors and
She barks.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Nice. Oh, we're so excited to have you on. You're our first DJ.
Yeah.
I was hoping you would have your soundboard hooked up and you could push the button wah, wah, wah.
We can just make those noises.
I'm gonna get the app out.
That's so good. It's so what era is that? Is that 2000s?
Yeah, totally, fully.
Are they not doing that anymore at weddings?
Not quite as much.
Well, not Chris.
Let's bring it back.
Nope. Yeah.
Let's bring it back.
All right.
Okay. We usually start off by reading a little bio about you.
Did you happen to get the email with the bio?
I did.
Did you approve it?
I approved the bio.
Okay, good. I'm going to make Effie read it because it's really fun for me to watch her read them.
Because I'm also a bad reader.
Honestly, I would do a worse job.
True. Okay.
True.
Chris Briscoe is a seasoned Canadian musician, DJ, and promoter with over 20 years of experience. Born in England and having lived in California before settling in Canada, his diverse background has shaped his eclectic music style, influenced by Motown, funk, soul, Latin rhythms, and rock. As the original owner and operator of the Casbah. Ooh.
I actually did not know that. And
That's so cool.
Sorry to cut in here. When I think you must have owned it when I was going, probably. There used to be this what's it called when there's a fake band,
a fake band?
Tribute?
Oh, tribute band. That's the word I'm looking for. Not fake. For, it's gonna bother me. Reggae.
Oh, the Rhythm Riders or the...
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes! I love them so much.
Yeah, they're good friends. They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. As the original owner and operator of the Casbah Nightclub, Chris has played a pivotal role in Hamilton's arts community, earning a recognition award for entrepreneurship in the arts. He has collaborated with the notable acts such as Jimmy Eat World, Jacksoul, and Tragically Hip, and has promoted events featuring artists like Tegan and Sara and Metric. Currently, through Briscoe Music, he offers DJ and event consulting services across the greater Hamilton, Toronto, Niagara Falls, Oakville, and Kitchener-Waterloo areas, delivering unique musical experiences for weddings, corporate events, and private functions. Wow, what a background.
Yeah. I actually like made, it was longer, and I actually had to put it into ChatGPT, and it was like, make this smaller and more concise, because I didn't know how to. And I just kept writing shorter. Shorter.
Less. I love it.
I also remember like the first time I met you at a wedding, automatically thinking you were like super cool. And like one of the like
A correct thing to
like most personable DJs that I've ever worked with. And I was probably not as personable because I kind of come off that way.
No, you don't.
A little bit.
You always say that. But, no.
I'm always like in my head working, and then I'm like, wait, did I say hi?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I've kind of got like more of a, my days are generally loose. I think that all the work is done. I think my biggest struggle probably for weddings is just remembering the do not playlist, because, there are things that are just in my go-tos. I recently did a wedding for a couple, and they basically said, none of the Justins. So no Bieber, no Timberlake, no Bruno Mars, no Lady Gaga, no Rihanna. So I felt handcuffed, to be honest.
Yeah. Because those are all wedding vibes.
They loved a lot of things like Broken Social Scene and the Arkells and like that, alternative indie kind of rock stuff. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And I just went old school, did older rock and roll, funk, disco. And then that was kind of turned out to be my safe space.
Yeah. I also, I feel like we should get like a Briscoe, hit list, like to give the people. It would be so cool.
Yeah. I know you have a Christmas one.
I could do that. I could definitely do that. I'll make a custom playlist for this podcast.
Yeah. The Edit Sesh community.
Oh, honestly, that would be so fun. It's nice to collaborate on some things. Also, I remember when actually Effie, I think, suggested having you on, and I was like, yeah, that would be amazing. And I thought back to one of the weddings we worked at where we were sitting because we had a lot of time, and I just like divulged my whole like childhood. And it was like, well, that was really intense.
That was amazing. That was like, it was probably one of my highlights for sitting with, like, a lot of the times, because I'm the DJ, it's like I sit by myself because it's in case there's cues and speeches. It's better than what we did at the Edgewater that day, where it's like, we all go sprinting to the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I came away feeling like a great connection to you after that, because we did get to just, we're kind of vulnerable time, just sharing things about themselves, and it just felt like a safe space. This little tiny private room. It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then, like hearing more of your partner's story too. Like, it's been really interesting. And then I've walked into her a couple of times now. So that's been really cool. And you guys are doing this like really cool benefit. I know I have a bunch of questions for you, but like it's weird to start off hearing about that, but like I would love to hear more about it.
Yeah. It happened kind of organically. I have 2 kids with special needs. Yeah. And, I think that we shared this when we were in that, private room. And they live with their mom out of town. And, it's part of why I ended up living in Toronto for a decade, was just to be closer to my kids. And, so we went to this event at Cabana Pool Bar, and it was put on by Variety Village, and it was called Dance Able. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to be at Cabana Pool Bar, pouring rain, so it kind of went indoors to Rebel Nightclub. Had the best time ever. Reached out to the organizers, or what I thought was the organizers, the contact page. Told them that it was like one of the most inclusive events I've ever been to with my family, because we rolled in like 10 deep. It was like my able-bodied daughter, the mother of my kids, her husband, his kids. So grandparents. It was a great event, and reached out to them and said, I'd love to bring something like that to Hamilton. Please reach out. I've got a DJing and event background. And nobody got back to me. And, time went on, and Dallas and I became partners, and she's a great event planner.
Yeah.
And so, she said, why don't we do it? Why don't we just do it? And we just tried to find the perfect venue with an indoor-outdoor option. And I've done tons of weddings at the Art Gallery of Hamilton, and that became the spot in my head. And so I was reaching out to one of the main coordinators there, Jody, and we just never connected. It was just like, she got busy, wedding season, people were off sick, vacations. She never got back, and we never connected. And I ended up showing up at a wedding and setting up, and she was apologizing for not getting back to me. And I was like, I totally get it. Can I give you the 2-minute pitch? And I said, I want to throw this dance party for people with disabilities, all ages. And I'd love it to be a free event if possible. And, it was like an elevator pitch or a water cooler pitch. And she said, let me get back to you. She finishes setting up tables, brought it to her team, and then connected me with the community outreach group. And it fell within their mandate. So they became partners with us on the event. And I had done quite a few Easter Seals events, the Dancing with the Stars events that they have, and reached out to Joey Wilson, who's the planner, loved the concept. So between the Art Gallery and Easter Seals Canada, it gave us some credibility coming out of the gates. And we just basically put it together in less than 2 months. Oh. And it was sold out. And there are times that Dallas and I had to kind of pull ourselves off to the side. And, it was such a beautiful day. And because my kids have special needs, I've noticed that there's a lot of events and groups where they kind of age out. So suddenly you hit 18. And there's not that many things for them. So we didn't have an age cap on this, and we made sure there was space for walkers, wheelchairs, support staff. And some of these people were just so full of joy and swinging their arms and dancing hard. It was like, it was beautiful.
Aww. That's awesome. And you guys plan to have a second one?
We do. We're having another one in August, and we had a couple of, we had a dream to take it on the road. So we are confirmed for an August date. We're going to do 2 this year. We wanted to possibly do 3, but that feels like it's going to be next year. So we're going to be doing Hamilton and Cambridge, and most likely Toronto next year. So pretty excited.
Do you have the date in August already?
I do, and it is I think it's like right at the very end, and it should be in Chance to Dance at the Art Gallery of Hamilton. It's going to be Thursday, August 21st.
Are we shooting it?
Yeah, well, we had connected about me helping out, and so I'm checking to see if I'm free.
I love it.
So the 21st, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm literally putting it in my calendar if you guys need.
Please do.
Some photographers.
Please do. And I think that we're hoping for Thursday the 14th in Cambridge. So just kind of go. So what the venue in Cambridge is Tapestry Hall.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. Nice. Yes. So what we're hoping, because we know we've got the leverage for Hamilton, that if it sells out in advance, then people will be able to make the drive down the road to Cambridge.
Yeah, it's not too far.
No, not at all.
Cool.
Are you DJing these events too?
See, that's how it all started. That was the plan and the goal. And luckily, just through some friends, I ended up getting a guy named Todd Gibson, who volunteered to help out. And, he's just old school hip hop R&B DJ. And I didn't realize how much wedding experience this guy had. So he's, fantastic DJ. He volunteered. He was going to do the first half hour and a bit. I was going to jump up, but it felt like every time I got on the decks to start spinning, I was getting, pulled in another direction. And I was like, hey, be right back, Todd. And it was amazing because like normally when I play with other DJs, I'm like thinking, the music ain't I got to go back up there and fix this thing. And it was just like one thing after another. He was just like, okay, this is great. I don't have to worry about the music anymore.
Yeah. That's a lot of work if you're running the event.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like next year, Dallas and I, we both realized we can't have those jobs. We can't have these. We really need to just kind of be present and engaging with the people and dancing.
Yeah.
That's a really great reason why bride and like couples shouldn't DJ their own wedding.
Yeah, or plan their own wedding.
Yeah,
or court and
do anything for it.
Yeah. We can get into like specific questions, or we can just ask him to do like a quick little, like in the bio, it kind of went through his whole history, but if there's anything else on like how you started into DJing.
Yeah.
I started taking piano lessons when I was probably about 10, and it was like the door-to-door guys from the Ontario Conservatory of Music going around giving these aptitude tests with accordions. And I was like, yeah, he's musical. And started taking lessons, and then got to high school and joined the high school music program. Had to play trumpet for the first semester, and then switched to bass guitar. And then you had to learn the upright and then you got to switch to the electric, which is really cool.
Do so much. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Like,
we only have to pick
let's
one.
talk about high school, like the forcing of like a musical instrument.
I've never been forced.
What?
I got to pick.
I had to play piano.
Really?
I was terrible. Once I had to do two hands, I was out. I was like, I can't do this. So I'm not musical, clearly. And then I played clarinet. Like, who picks the clarinet?
I do.
You played it too?
I play flute and clarinet, and I love both of them.
Okay, those are both the most annoying instruments if you cannot play them correctly. I swear to you, it's like a screeching owl. Anyways.
Poor folks. The rest of the family.
Oh, I also played the bells. Stupidest thing ever. You get...
all you could do.
You get... You're so mean. You get like, you're in a choir, right? And you get like two numbers and you're just like following a chart and it's like 6, 5 or whatever. 4, 4, 4.
Someone's got to do it.
And lots of resting.
Yeah. Just standing there excitingly holding these. And then like sometimes you'd have to do like a very particular ring where you have to be like,
the fancy ones.
Yeah.
The fancy ring.
Anyway, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh gosh, music.
No, I played some instruments and just like big group of Hamilton musician friends, where we kind of like would have these jam parties on Friday nights and switching instruments and kind of teaching each other. And I feel like I was around during the birth of hip hop as well. So. But my record collection started when I was like, before I could read. My mom used to tell me that I had these piles of records, and before I could read, it was like her party trick for her kid was like, Christopher, go and play such and such a song. And then I would go through my record player and I'd go through my little pile of 45s, and then I'd pick out the one, probably just mapping it out by the color of the label or the patterns on the label, and they're just like, see, you know how to do it. So that was the beginning of it. And my stepdad was a huge record collector, and he was like super anal about his stuff. It's like, nobody touch my records. And so it was kind of like my allowance
Yeah.
was getting to go to Sam the Record Man and pick out a record. And I saved up and bought my first Technique 1200, which is the mecca of turntables for
I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it is the turntable. It's still pretty much the industry standard.
No way.
Yeah, like it's been around for a while. And so I bought turntables and I started making mixtapes in my bedroom. And then I think it was grade 10. I did a Halloween dance up at Lawfield Arena. They have these little rec center rooms where they would teach like gymnastics or ballet with mirrors and stuff. And so like I sold tickets for $4 in advance, $5 at the door, generating those advanced sales. And
how old were you?
I was like 14.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I was hooked.
Yeah.
So then it was like a Christmas dance and then a Valentine's dance, then an Easter dance, and just kind of always doing it the rest of high school.
Yeah. It was so cool. We had Dimitri on. I don't know if you know him. He's a videographer now, but he also did a bunch of DJing.
Really?
Yeah. So if you it would be really neat to see if you go watch his videos. I find that his videography is like really well connected to music.
Oh, for sure.
And obviously like he brings that like to the table, but it would be really cool to see like how, if you feel like there's a vibe based on the music. I mean, there is, but
for sure.
Yeah, that's really cool about starting like the dances and stuff. And like, so do you still have that first turntable?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Nice. And it still works?
It still works. I still have tons of vinyl. I, just because the difference between the turntables and the modern technology, the digital, vinyl is so much harder.
Oh.
And it's, technology, it's a tool. It makes things a lot easier. That's probably why there's just so many DJs now as well, right? And it's like you can get a subscription and you've got every song in the world versus back in the day where you had to really pick carefully with that $100 because each song is going to be about $15.99 each, right? Wow. So
that's really cool to think like back to how like technology makes things easier, but not necessarily like, you know, like sweeter or more meaningful, or like the depth to something often gets like lost. Same sometimes with like photography, right? Like, great, we have these like really amazing digital cameras. We can just go in and we can go and take like, we got that moment where mom and dad were hugging or whoever was crying. But then like, with film, you like have to slow down, be intentional, like be in the moment, like watching. And then also just like the process of like, you know, taking the shot and also like setting it up and then also like processing it after, which I tried processing film once and it went okay, but you know, I don't want to do that.
But yeah, that is so true. Like my kids, I had like a Canon A1, when my kids were young, and you waited.
Yeah.
I know. And just, and then you got to wait until that roll's finished.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3 weeks later and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like $1.
Yes, exactly.
I just dropped off my very first roll of film to get processed, so I'm waiting for that.
I can't wait. We should critique it on like
the podcast.
On a video. Like these are all terrible.
Probably will be. They're just like all of Juno.
That's really cool. I don't know actually if I wrote this down because I forgot my own questions, but well, we did have like your backstory. Because you talked about your mom and dad. Like, do you have like siblings? And like, you said you were from
England.
Oh, England, right? That's what it was. That's so cool. Like, and wow, I'm forgetting where the other place you're. California.
Yeah,
those are both like really great places. Why did you land in Canada?
Yeah,
why are you here?
I was too young to have a vote.
Oh, dang!
But I am so grateful that we ended up here. You know, like So my folks are Jamaican.
Yeah.
and it's part of the British Commonwealth, right? So like
Yeah.
what the British government did after World War II was set up tourism boards all across the Commonwealth, you know, basically letting people, hey, come to England and probably more like come to England and make your fortune and go back home.
Yeah.
So all these people, you know, their goal is to get to the UK, and they get there and they're just, you know, cheap labor to help clean up after the war, right? So a lot of people got there and there was no way to get back home, or
shoot,
it was just, you know, or they would send a little bit and just thinking that they're going to be able to get up there. But, you know, people just got stuck there. At one point, there was more Jamaicans in London than in Jamaica.
No way.
Yeah. So there's, so my parents ended up there, and the rest of the family went to the States. And then my father passed away when I was like 6 weeks old. And then my mom emigrated to meet up with her brothers and sisters and parents when we were 4 years old, when I was 4. And I had an older brother. But I feel like I'm the main music person in the family.
Yeah.
I think that like my older aunts and uncles. So here's what I think my musical journey was. Like I was a kid, infant, listening to my parents' Jamaican ska rocksteady, and being in Britain, I'm hearing things like the Beatles and Gary Glitter. Come to California, all my aunts and uncles have the big afros, and it's the funk, the soul, the James Brown. And then when we moved to Canada, I was probably about 11, and I had no idea what to like, because that was the era when suddenly now disco sucks. And I'm just scared of what to listen to and just trying to want to make friends. So I went backwards and started listening to the Beatles, the Doors, Zeppelin, Hendrix. And I feel like that's like having that as my foundation going into weddings. Yeah. Like I tell couples now that I say, I'm going to make your older guests fall in love with me long before the dancing starts. That's my goal. Yeah. It's like, you know, making memories during the cocktail hour and dinner time. And, you know, I love that uncle in the family that knows everything about music when he's just like, hey, how's that DJ know that song?
So funny that you enjoy that part. That's like my worst fear at a wedding. It's like someone
like the camera uncle.
Yeah, comes and stands beside you and asks you like 40 questions about your camera. I'm like,
what lens are you using?
Yeah. Why is that 85 so big? I don't know.
No, I love it. I get back there and I like, come here, take a look at this. See this? See what that does?
You're a better person than me.
Stop.
I've only given my camera to one person at a wedding.
Wow.
Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done it. I did make them wear my harness, though. I was like, if you're drunk and you drop this.
It's only if they face plant.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Anyways, that's really cool. Like, it's so interesting hearing that, like, during your teen years, like, you know, that struggle of trying to fit in, and like, I can feel that when you're talking, but then like, it's so cool how original you are. And like, it weirdly reminds me of like, nobody else can be you because they don't have that experience. But like, you know, is it Audrey Hepburn who lived in so many different places? She has like a very distinct accent. Right. Like they say like nobody could have her accent because she like the languages that she learned when she was like in certain countries and her mom and dad spoke certain languages or whatever around her, something like that. And it's just like, that's why she has such a like a distinct voice. It's the same thing that like basically you experienced, right? And you like, you also you're not faking liking these bands for like being cool. It's like, you know. Yeah.
Thank you. I agree. Yeah, like but that whole journey with like those turntables, and you know, that was like the birth of hip hop and breakdancing. It was just like, it was my life, you know. Like I've seen the, you know, the 45s, the 33s, the cassettes, the 8 tracks, the CD players to now these DJ controllers, which are just, it's mind blowing. Like the things that I dreamt about doing, 10, 15 years ago are now at my fingertips.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The best example I tell people like they're, that ask about what the difference was like. I'm playing this song. It's great. I picked this song. I put it on the platter and I'm queuing it up. It's the wrong song. It's not what I'm thinking in my head. I put it back in the sleeve. That song now has 35 seconds in. Mm-hmm. So now I've just got to put something on so there's no dead air. With modern technology, I just create a 4-bar loop, and now that 12 seconds is now on repeat.
Yeah.
And now I am no longer stressed, and I can pick the right song because people are dancing, right?
And you can also, I'm pretty sure you can search certain songs that are also in the same time frame or or whatever.
Yeah.
The minute or something.
Yeah. So my entire folder, usually when I'm DJing, is arranged by beats per minute.
Yeah.
So then I'm just, as I scroll, if I'm playing Love Like This Before, that's 100 beats per minute. And so I can go to basically 95 to 105, just above it or just below it. And they will seem to blend. So I'm scrolling. It's whoa, I haven't played that in a while. Forgot about that one. Pop that in. And, it's the same way with couples when they make requests. I will tell them, you don't need to spoon feed me everything. But if you put Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy, I know that I can do a 4 or 5 song country set and you guys are going to be happy. Right. And it might be Shania Twain or depending on the demographic. If it's older, maybe little Chattahoochee. And, and if they're a little bit, then it's just more that new country stuff, right? So for almost every song, I think about another 4 or 5. So, they put in the Killers. I'm thinking Blink-182 and,
Yeah.
Strokes.
I think that's how all DJs kind of operate. Would that be a good tip for couples?
I don't think that no, I think a lot of DJs, especially weddings, I think that a lot of them are accountants. They're not musicians.
You know what? I gotta agree because I've gone to a few weddings where you're there's no vibe here. You're just switching from one song to a completely different song. I don't know if that's intentional, but I'm the mood went from here to dead. If I feel that, everybody's now felt that.
Sure.
So I'm and also listen, I got married in 2012. We didn't have barely any vendors. Vendors were kind of almost not a thing, I feel well, they were, but
there weren't as many options.
Yeah. I had a very DIY wedding. Great. But, we had a friend who was a DJ and he definitely took care of music for us. But still when you just plug something in and you play it, there's still that second where the next song isn't playing, and everyone's what's happening here?
For sure. And I think that, with AI and just the advancement of streaming, that will be reduced.
Yeah.
I think it is already now. You can set the crossfade to 3 seconds so that it's almost automatically mixing. And it works when you're doing a genre upbeat stuff like house music where you might not miss a beat, but there's something to be said for having a human reading the room. And, I will, I'll tell couples that I don't necessarily plan to play slow songs, but sometimes I'll know when I need to play them. Right. And it's usually when I need to reset the room where it's just all of a sudden, banger after banger after banger. And then suddenly I got this feeling and that clears the dance floor.
Yeah. People are just tired. Maybe.
I think they're tired.
Yeah. Pizza came.
Yeah, pizza came too. That's the other thing that experience changes because that's used to be all up in my own head. Where did everybody go? Oh, and then I'm thinking about another banger because every like, let me bring them back with another banger. It's like, oh no, the late night came out.
Yeah.
Right.
Or it's super hot and everyone's outside, or they're having smokes and, you know, like,
Yeah. I feel like we've covered things.
This is what happens is I write them, but they're in my head so that there's like a stream of conversation.
Yeah.
But then it's like, if I forget, it's more to like check.
Yeah, I was thinking that these are like very, very great questions, you know, that feel like a conversation.
Yeah.
It's all me.
Kudos.
I can't get a word in, really.
Okay, the next 5 minutes, it's all FE time. It's true, I am a bit of a talker. Just a wee bit.
Here's one. The music and event industry has seen significant changes over the past 2 decades. How have you adapted your services to stay relevant and meet evolving client expectations?
The planning app that I use. I've been using this incredible planning app called Vibo DJ, and it's built by DJs for DJs. And they will have regular meetings to share information. They help create playlists, templates. Here's what it looks like for me. Like I've got like, these are like my upcoming weddings, parties, celebrations of life.
Dang, you busy.
So it's the best thing about it is that, back in the day, I would meet with my wedding clients and then I might not see them again until the day of the wedding. So I'll show up, set up my stuff, and I'll be like, oh yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
Yes. We know that feeling.
Yeah. So the best thing about this is they set it up, you know, like a social media profile, right? So what happens now is as soon as I get an email, I just go to my app, I take a look, and I'll be like, oh yeah, Brienne and Jacob, and it's locked in. I feel like I'm actually having a conversation. So, for example, there's like it opens up and you kind of go to your timeline.
Rory and Lisa. Those are my friends.
You might want to get consent.
That was an old one.
Yes. So how this happened was...
Wait, didn't you do Effie's wedding?
No. He was busy.
Oh.
But he did Rory and Lisa's wedding, which I was at.
Why did...
Yes.
Oh, you know whose wedding I'm thinking of is Rachel... Because it was also at Millworks.
At Millworks, yes.
Anyways, never mind.
Anyways, continue.
Cut this.
A friend of mine, Sam Fleming, hired me to do their wedding because I think that he was just doing multiple weddings on New Year's Eve. So he got me to use this. I was blown away by the app. I tried to use it on my own and I get prompted to a sales call with one of the people from the company. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. And within 5 minutes, I was like, take my money. This is so much better than a personal assistant. Yeah. So, I start off, the time, date, location, then there's a timeline breakdown. There's some general event information. How many guests are you expecting? Wedding color palette gives me an opportunity to match a tie.
That's cool.
Or dress in line with the groomsmen.
He does have a vibe at a wedding.
Thank you. Where did you meet? Any fun facts about you? Cocktail hour. So, let me go into another one. So they would go into their timeline. And there's a breakdown there's pre-ceremony seating music. There's the processional music. There's the bride. There's the signing. They could add a section for like a poem to be read. There's the cocktail hour. There's dinner music, toasts and speeches. They could write things out phonetically if I was going to be doing any introductions. First dance, father-daughter dance, mother-son dance. Start off the dance floor. These guys wanted shut up and dance with me. And then there's open dance music. There's a do not playlist.
Nice.
And there's also a guest section. So this is the coolest thing about it is they could send out a link and say, what's that one song that would get you on the dance floor?
Yeah.
They could then, it's integrated with YouTube, Apple Music, and Spotify. So then the guests can, there's also a section where there's hearts, so they could vote on other people's recommendations.
Wow.
And then that would be the only section that the guests would see. So then the couple, they've got the opportunity to veto requests. They could say, hey, there's no way that's being played at my wedding. It's out there and it's gone. Everybody feels like they've gotten their request in, and they don't need to be coming up to me with their phone all night going, hey, can you play this? Can you play this? Right. So, for one, the couples have vetted the requests, and people that make requests at weddings, they're usually music lovers, but they don't realize sometimes that, that I've got some ideas too. Right.
Yeah.
And what happens is, like, I'll play that one song for that person that's super, super sweet, and it's a great idea. And I'm like, okay, I play it in a couple songs, and then alcohol takes over, and then they're coming up to me with their phone all the time. And then, or they're just sitting there waiting for their song. And they don't realize that the journey that it gets from this song, this tempo, to the one that's going like that. And it's like, I can't just put yours in next. It's going to take 5 songs to get there.
I was literally going to ask that question. Like, how often, like, does that happen at a wedding? I feel like probably often.
It's not as much as it used to, right? Like, I think that just, the app has definitely saved that. And I always, like, tell couples, if there's that person in your family that's like that, you know who they are. They all do. It's like, talk to them in advance, figure out a couple of their favorite artists. And then if I can sneak stuff in during the cocktail hour, then they really won't bug me.
Yeah.
And,
I feel like Chris doesn't get bugged a lot because he's actually good and he reads the room vibe. But like the bad DJs probably get bugged a lot.
Yeah. I could see that.
That's really cool though, that app, just for organization in general, but also you said it's also to connect with other DJs. There are some groups. There is a really good community. But I think the best thing about it, like when I meet with couples and I show them, they're like, wow, I never even thought about that. It just helps them to map out their day. They can pop in timestamps and they can be as detailed as they want to be. So it helps them plan their day as well. So organized. Yeah. I love that. Okay. Advice for aspiring DJs. What advice would you give to someone looking to start their career as a DJ or event promoter in today's music scene?
I would say practice, learn the fundamentals, and don't rely on the technology just in case the technology fails you. Like you really, I've always encouraged people, get on turntables, see how difficult it is, to beat match something that has, they call it wow and flutter, just that it's just the imperfections, but versus, anybody, like I could make anybody be decent at a house party if we wanted to give them patience, like sit with me for an hour and then you're going to be able to do a 15-minute set,
Nice.
Because the technology will help you, right? Like, it's just like, if you know how to 1, 2, 3, 4, boop, you're going to be okay with modern technology, right? So I would say practice, film yourself.
Sure.
I found that COVID really helped my performance because I was streaming so much, and then I was just like, dude, look alive.
Yeah.
So just be your own worst critic, and go out and see other DJs, look over people's shoulders, and don't be afraid to ask questions. You might have, you'll find the right people that will be willing to share their knowledge.
I think that's one of the things that I say when I'm taking photographs of people is like, cause we're focusing. So you look maybe like you're focusing or you're grumpy or whatever. I'm always like, smile at whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
When you're doing branding photos, it's like, oh, you're typing on your computer, smile.
Or even if you're like doing family photos with kids, sometimes they're just worried about like what the kids are doing and they're not focusing on themselves.
Yeah.
Like whatever you're doing, just smile. Even if like your baby's crying, like,
yeah,
just keep smiling.
True.
That's literally the motto for being a parent.
Just keep smiling.
Keep smiling. Yeah.
It's fine.
Ooh, that kind of goes into our next question.
Although, I have like possibly a silly question.
Okay.
It's never silly.
Well, you said Flutter and Wow.
Yep.
And then you were saying that like you're beat matching, and I don't know a ton about DJing.
Mm-hmm.
And I always assumed that's like what you're doing when you're like moving the literal records on a turntable, is you're literally trying to slow down one record to match the other one.
That's exactly it.
Okay, so cuz you were saying when you do digitally, like you'll find something similar and you'll match it that way, but you can do it more on purpose where you're slowing it down to match.
There's a thing with modern technology called sync. So like if I play like Avicii, and I can just like put on Fireball like that. That song is like 128 beats per minute. Fireball is 123, slightly slower.
Okay.
So rather than manually trying to use the thing called the fader, which speeds it up or slows it down, you can hit a button and go boom, sync. And so now they're both 128.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's what happens with vinyl when you're trying to match like a 5 beats per minute difference. You're kind of making one go faster, and you'll start the song. Oh, it's not quite. Then you got to start it again. You got to move the needle, move the fader a little bit faster, and start again. But with digital stuff, it's like boom, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Yeah. So much easier, right?
Yeah. That's crazy. Honestly, like I'm such a huge fan of like when I think it was during COVID, there was like a ton of like Eminem mashups that came out, and I'm so obsessed with like so many, but I can't find them like anywhere like to listen to. And I'm like, how do I listen to this not from TikTok?
Try SoundCloud.
True.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that's copyright issues. And so that's why they're not available. That's what even happened with a lot of people that were streaming. Suddenly the copyright police came in, even to do a set. It's like, I'm obviously not trying to monetize this even you putting the disclaimers, they didn't work. Record labels, they were just having these things that were identifying the music, and suddenly that 3 minutes is now muted, and now your set's ruined.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, and also like wild that just exists, and that like, I mean, Spotify, you pay for it, but it feels often free. You're just like, all this music at my fingertips. It's wild.
Yeah. We're lucky.
So there's a new thing that's called Beat Source, and it's again, the technology advancing. Before you had to buy music, download it, put it on your computer. Now I just signed up for the 30-day trial, and now I'm sold. It's a subscription to like 8 million songs, $35 a month. And it's basically, you type it in just like as if you're regular DJ software, and it will pull it. And so like there's an issue, like if you have bad Wi-Fi, it won't play unless the song fully loaded. Right?
Okay.
And so you also have an online storage locker. So you could download 1,000 songs. They would be available on your hard drive as you walk into this wedding. So that's another thing that the app does for me. So that planning app, I can then take it and say, export it to Beat Source. Mm-hmm. So that will create, Timmy and Julie's wedding dancing, it will export. And then now all of those songs that they selected for their dancing portion is already in a folder waiting for me.
That is such a good tip, because like, I can't think of the paranoia of like, everyone's on the Wi-Fi, or it goes down, or like it's raining or whatever. And you're just like, so yeah, I have no music because it's like in the internet.
It's in the internet.
And that's why, like, and that's also, some advice for another, an upcoming DJ is, don't rely on streaming. You need to have like a few thousand songs on your hard drive at all times. Like, so I know that for myself, there's I feel like I'm always searching for new music, but it's hard to play new music at weddings because it's still new.
Yeah.
And unless you've got like a couple that maybe that love, EDM, and so does their friend group, generally you're playing stuff, that's had enough time to marinate in people's heads. Because like with Chapel Roan, when she first came out, like I did some stuff last year at the weddings and no one knew what to do.
Yeah.
But now they're loving it.
But now, and the thing too is like, I feel like, the shelf life of new music, it's just like, oh my God, it's great. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you've got like, once it hits that magic spot.
Yeah. Golden hour.
But stuff like from the 90s.
It's like timeless.
It seems timeless.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I'm never mad when Sweet Carolina comes on.
Some people are now. Some people are getting sick of it.
I don't, so I feel like I must be like a weird anomaly, and like a wedding soundtrack, like, that's just my vibe. I must be just like really basic.
No, lots of people like it.
Although I made Ruben listen to Breaking Benjamin on the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I used to listen to this as a teen. I feel like I can feel the angst returning to my body.
That's like that event that we were at together, Chris, and I was listening to The Fray in the car, and then you put it on, and then people were like, yeah, The Fray. She's like, that was my recommendation.
Yeah.
Remember song?
But yeah, that's the thing. It's so funny. Like, like I know that when I see that list of songs, and if I see Sweet Caroline, I know I can play old time rock and roll. Like, Shook Me All Night Long. I can play Moni Moni. Like there's those ones that some groups, and then there's also those ones that are like, no, we don't want that. And then, but I just know that I can throw in so many reliables when they've got Sweet Caroline on the list.
Yeah.
Okay. We probably have time for one last question.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I don't know. Ask away.
Reflecting on your career, are there personal milestones or achievements that hold special significance for you?
It's a deep one.
It is. It sounds like there are some cool awards.
I'd say there's a few. I think that I'm blanking on his name right now. He's the lead singer from Black Flag. He ended up doing a thing at Hamilton Place, and I got to be his personal assistant for the day. That was really super cool. Having Frank Black and the Pixies at the Casbah, Ron Sexsmith, Rufus Wainwright. Those are some shows I loved. Opening for Jimmy Eat World because the opening band couldn't get across the border.
Oh.
And opened for the lead singer from this group called Squeeze, and the opening act didn't show up. And I had my guitar backstage at the Casbah. I got to open up for him and the Tragically Hip once. They're
like musical gigs. They're not like DJing gigs, right?
They were DJ. Those are specific DJ gigs.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Yeah, and I think that my arts award from the city of Hamilton, it was presented by the mayor, and it was a recognition awards for my contribution to the arts community of Hamilton, and I'm pretty proud of it because it kind of came out of nowhere. And at one point, I was booking to the number 1 and number 2 live music venue in Hamilton, and so I was like, it was a place called the Hudson. And it was like a speakeasy on King Street. It was, then it turned into Absinthe for a while after it closed. So it was this place with like live music on the main floor, pool tables in the basement, and DJ. Yeah, cool. So I would have like, singer-songwriters at the Casbah, and then I'd have a funk band at the Hudson. So I was never competing. It's been a wonderful ride. I love Hamilton, and
I feel like Effie, well, I might force her this year because I was saying we should do something for Supercrawl. I saw that their submissions are up. Like, have you ever done anything for Supercrawl?
I have not. And it's because like I've only been back in Hamilton for like 4 years.
Okay.
So, and part of it too is it's September is the month that I usually say, I'm going to do 6 weddings. I don't care. I'll do the back-to-backs because and then I can kind of coast in October. Yeah. But usually that's where I stack the month.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. It is always a bit of a bummer. I think the last couple of years I've like, cause it's a 3-day thing, like I've made it out to some part of it, but yeah, it's definitely different, that it's in the middle of like the biggest month. But I mean, like that would be so cool if you ever got to play, cause they've had some big names too, but
they have. Yeah, those guys do some great work.
And it's so crazy that the Casbah is like, it's not going to exist anymore. Like,
yeah, that building, like, so the original La Luna was like across from that Tim Hortons on King Street. So it's about 4 storefronts. And at one point I ended up booking the bands there for a few years. And when the owner bought that building and moved La Luna, he gave me the opportunity to lease. So he basically, just built the room to my specs, and so I got to go in there when it used to be like a tech upgrade kind of school and a bunch of offices and cubicles. And I got to go in there with a bunch of my musician buddies with sledgehammers and let's clear it, make it an open space. It was like, okay, we're coming back in 3 days, Chris. Make sure there's nothing here. Bring my buddies. Let's go.
That's amazing. That's like Ruben's background is Ukrainian. They're the same way. They're just like, yeah. Any construction company or like someone that like, they're like, oh, this will be like a couple months. They're like, we'll do it in a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. The family at La Luna, they've been doing it for a long time and they're, they condos, they've got their retirement plan. They're checking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad, but it's hard seeing the landscape of Hamilton change, even though it's technically, I guess, for the good of the city. But
yeah,
it was great having you on. And I mean, like, obviously, we'd love to get to know Dallas more too. And I think, like, yeah, let's circle back about the August date for the. Yeah,
I'd love it.
Available.
All right.
I'm available. Yeah. So sounds good.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Thank you for having me. This was great. Yeah.
It's cool to have something a little different on the podcast other than photographers.
Oh, yeah. That's perfect.
Yay.
I learned so much.
Yeah, me too.
And I hope this brings like a new appreciation for DJs and like the hard work that you guys do. And yeah. Obviously I think aren't you like fully booked though?
I've got some spaces, like I feel like, I've got a better work-life balance than I've ever had, ever. And
that was the one question we didn't ask you.
Okay. Well, it's been better. I work part-time for the city. So that's kind of, when I came back to Hamilton, I guess it'd be almost 5 years ago. I came back in the middle of the pandemic, didn't know what I was going to do. And I had just moved out towards Prince Edward County before the pandemic. I was going after the wedding industry. I figured I was going to be the guy with a bit of Toronto swagger, going against all the people with Ted's DJ services, right? Like I was like trying to stand out. And then 3 months later, COVID happened. So I lasted until the summer, and then COVID was a great opportunity to be closer to my mom. So I came back to Hamilton. A friend helped me apply for a job in advance. So I was working for Canada Post within 8 days of coming back to Hamilton. And so I did that for about 8 months, and it was starting to affect my body, knees and stuff, in and out of these cargo vans. And I saw like all of my colleagues with hunches and limps, and I was like, I got to get out of here. And I ended up as a vaccine courier for the city for 2 years. And then once that whole pandemic response was about to end, I ended up applying at Tim Hortons Field. So I've been there. I'm doing like 3 days a week. It's like, it's great. I've worked with an incredible team, learned so much about tools.
Handyman.
It's great.
Nice.
Yeah. So Dallas and I, like, we map out, like when we're just, well in advance, nothing that weekend. And,
Yep.
And we just recently had a talk. Like I'm just so used to saying yes to everything. Just this fear of it going away. Like how can I turn down a gig when there's nothing there that day?
Yeah.
And so that's, just something that I've just overcoming that in my head. Like,
yeah.
I think I did 28 weddings last year, and I don't have to do that many. I just don't do anymore. So
it's nice to get to that point where you can start to kind of pick and choose what you want to do and not overwork yourself.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah.
As soon as Maisel was on the scene, I was like, yeah, like we're like, like my spouse is working during the week. I'm going to work when he gets home, and then I'm working the weekends, and then it's just repeating that forever. And then it started to have to be like, okay, like we have to not work Sundays as much as possible, and we need to take a week off in the summer, even though that's my busy season. And yeah, you have to start like definitely carving out and having like hard boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It's hard for us just like these solo operators, like it's hard to get to that point, and even just wrapping your head around it. But then like family time is really, really important. And if you don't block this stuff out, suddenly it's like another summer's gone by, and you're like, I didn't even see water,
Yeah, it's important.
It is.
It's scary. And like you said, it's all a mental thing. Like you just have to overcome it in your head. You're going to be fine. Yeah.
That was great. Thank you so much for having me on. I had a great time.
Yeah, thank you.
See you in the real world sometime.
Yeah, I hope so.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye, guys.
Bye. You gotta do it louder.
Such a little baby clap.
Whoa.
That was a big guy. That's gonna hurt your ears when you're listening to it. Do you have a life update?
Life.
You got a new hat.
I got a new hat from Home Hardware. We're like a Rona family. And then we were like, you know what? Support Canada. Yeah. And then we were like, Home Hardware.
I love that for you. That's great. It's really important.
Yeah.
To bring money back into the community.
Yeah.
And so they have Hamilton hats. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's like a little section in Home Hardware that just sells like local stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Look at Home Hardware trying.
Yeah.
They actually sometimes they have like pretty great stuff, like decor.
Well, they had everything that we needed from Rona. So
yeah, perfect.
Yeah, except a shovel.
They didn't have one shovel?
They didn't have the one that Keith wanted.
Only Keith would... Sorry, Keith, if you're listening. Keith would want a specific shovel.
We have 3 different shovels now.
And it's not right? It just doesn't fit right?
No, now we have all the sizes.
Keith, like, with his 3 shovels, would be like, this one is too cold.
This one is just right. No, it's like sizes.
Oh.
He was like, I need a smaller one.
You know what? It would be really funny is if you just get rid of them all. Snowblower.
We are getting a snowblower for my grandma.
Oh, I was going to say, we used, what's it called? An electric one?
Yeah.
And they're half decent.
Yeah, that's great.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. I last week I did headshots for the city of Hamilton for one of the departments, economic development, I think. I loved it. I was like, hire me for more. I want to do all the headshots for all the people.
Many? Oh, you had to do 25?
I did 25 for that department. So that was fun.
Nice.
I like it. It's a good little winter gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your plan to go get the other departments? Have you made up a plan?
I'm hoping someone will see the pictures and be like, damn.
That's not a great plan. I feel like you should maybe try a little harder. Maybe you should knock on all the other doors in City Hall. Would you like a complimentary headshot?
I'm just door knocking. Good plan, Dorth. I voted on the weekend.
Yeah. I was gonna be like, who'd you vote for? And then I was like, I don't want to know.
You can't, I don't think you can ask that.
Anyways, so you voted. What else?
I got an oil change.
Wow, some thrilling stuff happening.
I did a snow-themed shoot on Family Day.
Oh, nice.
It was like, I guess, after that huge-ass downpour. So, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, let's go to Cliff. Like, that would be fun.
And then you're like, we have the snow and like...
It's knee-deep snow. I'm like, sorry. Good thing everyone had snow pants on. It was still fun. They still had fun. But, like, the kids were like, I'm like, just a few more steps.
It's really funny.
Yeah, like, I guess I didn't think they were going to plow a park.
I feel like that path gets, like, still pretty trodden.
Yes. Yeah, like, there were people there, but they were skiing. They were cross-country skiing, so that was not helpful.
Next time, bring a sled.
Yes.
That's great.
What are your life updates?
I wrote working out.
Yes.
Now working out.
Nice.
I soar.
I soar
Literally
too.
At night, like, I'm, like, trying to sleep, and I'm like, oh, it hurts.
Feels good, though, eh?
I'm not sure I'm there yet.
Oh.
But, like, it's hard because, like, 1 week it was, like, going through my cycle to one day I was like, I cannot finish this workout. And I left. And the trainer was like, what's wrong with this girl? And I was just like, I could just tell you, but TMI. So
TMI.
I was like, I'm just done. And then...
You gotta listen to your body. You did the right thing.
And then I went on Monday after being in bed sick.
Yeah.
The day before. Like, literally...
That was probably not the right
groaning. I was like, my bowels.
Aww.
It was the weirdest sickness I've had yet. Like...
Weird.
Just, like, my stomach hurt. But, like, nothing came in, nothing came out. Like,
Aww.
you know, like, there was no headache. There was probably, like, some body aches. But, yeah. And then, like, it started, like, at the beginning of the day, and I continually felt worse. And then felt just bad for a while. Slept off a lot of it. Didn't eat and rested. And then I was fine the next day.
That's good. Was anyone else sick in your house?
No.
Wow.
But I was just like, this is weird.
That is weird.
So.
Sorry.
Just a short bout of unwellness.
It's good.
Went to Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
Ruben's whole thing on Nashville was that, like, the weather's good there. And, of course, when we went, it was cold.
Aww.
So that sucked.
How cold?
Like, when we left, it was, like, the weather here.
Mm-hmm.
But while we were gone, it was snowing.
Right.
Like, we had that crazy snowstorm.
Right.
So it was just, like, basically, like, we took Canadian weather with us.
Yeah. Except it doubled here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You were gone during the worst parts of it.
Yeah.
I was literally shoveling like 3 times a day.
People...
And I'm like, Dorothy's in Nashville.
Yeah. People were like, the city stopped moving for 3 days.
Yeah. So what did you do in Nashville?
We went to a money conference by John Deloney.
Nice.
And learned a bunch of that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And...
Oh, so it wasn't a specific skedaddle conference.
No.
It was like a business...
Yeah.
Okay.
And, ate a lot of food.
Nice.
And toured around a lot. It was really short.
Did you go to like some bars where they were playing music?
Yeah.
Cool.
We went in on a Thursday, went to a bar. The conference is mostly the next day, I think. And they had like a dance and stuff, which we didn't go to actually.
Yeah.
And then we walked like, was it called Broadway or Broadview or Broad Street? I don't know. Whatever in Nashville is like really well known. It's basically just like Niagara Falls on steroids. Yeah. Like more places, more bars. It's like taller.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a little bit overwhelming even for me because it was just like the bar next door to the bar would be like playing their music really loudly so that you could hear their music over the place beside it. So it was just like, it was like all the music was just like way too loud.
Yeah.
So yeah,
True.
But like it was cool to see lots. Like it was basically like it felt like the Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Like
Capital.
Yeah. And like there was just like we also I think on that street on a Friday or Saturday night. I can't remember which one. Maybe the Friday. Mm-hmm. So just like a lot of cowboys, a lot of country, a lot of cowboy hats, a lot of music, a lot of groups of people. Just.
Did you wear a cowboy hat?
I didn't actually.
Do you have one?
I have a lot of like the more like full flat hats, but
yeah.
I feel like they're annoying in public, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not tall enough that I'm hitting people. So there's a lot of like guys wearing like camo and like country fits with their like big hats.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, they're a vibe.
I want to go. I think my parents are going to be there in a couple days. Yeah. They're coming like back up from Florida.
That's sweet. You should go meet them.
I said that. They're like, nah. They're like, you won't like hanging out with us because my dad doesn't like spending money. So like, they don't really do anything. They just kind of like bike around.
I mean, as somebody, I've traveled in many different ways where you're like, yeah, you're trying to be cheap. Not trying to be cheap. You're trying to like be budget friendly. And then also like doing certain things. Like, I feel like sometimes you go to a place and if like you don't really like dive in, it's hard to like really experience
for sure
the place. And it just feels like it's like, oh, we just went to Nashville, but it's like, we're on the surface.
If you're not like eating out at any of the bars or restaurants or like going to bars to see music, then like, did you go to Nashville?
Even,
and that's
like,
not what they're doing.
I feel like even just doing like one or two tours too.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of tours.
Yeah. I like do their own little tours, but
no, there's
it's
nothing.
not the same.
Like when we went to Europe, we did like a biking tour, did a walking tour, and they give you like all the like little like quirky bits about the city. And then like in Chicago, I did a boat tour. Yeah. And I don't know, it's like probably one of my favorite things to do while traveling.
It's fun. I've done in London, I did the double-decker one. In Boston, I did I think it's called a duck boat. It's like a bus that goes into the water.
Oh, yeah. I think I did one of those too.
Yeah. In Boston?
Oh, no. I was thinking of London.
Oh, the double-decker one?
You know what? I'm totally getting this wrong. I did it at somewhere in Europe. Totally different boat.
Cool. But it was a boat bus thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. In San Francisco, I did a Segway tour.
What? Oh.
The one where it has like a platform you stand on. And like it takes you up that
terrifying
like Lombard Street.
Was it your first time on a Segway?
Yeah, but like you get used to it.
Yeah. I guess it's just kind of like a scooter.
Yeah.
Sideways.
We did an electric bike tour in Paris.
Yep. Love it.
And then Greece, we did like a cruise where we go to a bunch of islands, but I guess that's a tour, but
probably not as fun.
It was fun.
Oh, I did a bike tour in Germany too.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be probably my favorite thing to do. You got to do at least one.
Yeah. Tours are fun.
Yeah. And then, eating at a local place, doing something at night, a museum. Yeah. Those things are not nearly as fun, but I feel like you have to do at least like 3 things to feel like you've really been there.
For sure.
I feel like when I went to New York, we just walked around a lot. And I felt like I don't know anything about it and I didn't really experience it well. I was like, oh, I went on the bridge and I went to the park and I went to Times Square or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I don't know if Square. Yeah. I don't know if tours are like huge in New York because there are so many things to do.
No,
like you just go to Broadway, you go to the little things.
I'm just saying we didn't have a show to go to. We didn't eat anywhere specific. Like I didn't look at places and be like, I really wanted to eat at this specific spot.
Yeah.
You know, we also went, it was like December 30th, something like that.
Yeah.
Years ago, like 2011.
I love New York. When I went to New York, I did this play. It was like an interactive play. It's called Speak No More. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's so cool. It's this giant mansion and everybody that's a viewer gets a mask, like a white mask. It kind of like is like scary looking.
You know what? I think I've seen this on Gossip Girl.
I think it possibly was on Gossip Girl. I think it's been on a show. And basically there's like a play going on in the mansion. So there's actors like in every room, and like sometimes the actors like meet up, and like it's just like a full night of like things going on, and you just like walk around and you're not allowed to talk. They're not allowed to touch you. They're not allowed to interact with you. And you're just a viewer. And it's so weird because like they tell you not to go in with your friends. They just tell you to like go experience it yourself. And there's like so many floors, different rooms, so everyone comes out with a completely different experience.
Yeah.
And every time you go in, you can get a different experience.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah. It's also kind of scary.
Oh yeah.
It's weird.
It reminds me slightly of this one escape room that I did, and I will probably never do it again.
Oh, I love escape rooms.
I did the one on King Street or whatever, and it was like one of those, I think it was a Stephen King book.
Oh.
And like literally it was like we were solving a murder that happened that was like a very scary murder. Like the person was like taken apart. And we're in a room locked, and we figure out the clues, and we get like a videotape, and it was like, watch the videotape to figure out what happened. And so we put it in the player, and we're all watching the screen. So there's 4 of us all looking at the screen, but we're in basically like a room with a door and a window.
Yeah.
Like fake door, fake window.
Yeah.
And, it's basically a video of the girl watching the TV. So it's a video of her being watched. Oh. And at that moment, I'm like, I feel like I'm being watched. And I turn around, and there's a guy's face in the door.
Oh, that's so creepy.
And I was like, I just turned around and stared at him. I was like, there's a guy's face in the door. But like inside, I was like, I'm panicked. And I was like, I'm not going to the next door. I'm not going in the next room.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I don't want to be like touched or scared. Like I will 100% punch someone.
Yeah.
If anybody touches me. So Ruben actually called and was like, hey, like we don't want anybody to like jump out and touch us. Like we're just here to like do the clues. Like we don't feel like being scared. Like, you know? So they were like, okay. And like that guy never came back. Okay. But like I was just on edge the rest of the night thinking that like everything I touched, or like there was also in the next room was like literally a casket like a
dead person in a...
Yeah, what's it called?
Yeah, it's a casket.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. And there was like a hole in it, and I was like, someone's gonna jump through that. So
did you end up escaping?
Yeah.
Good job.
We figured it out. Oh, and then the room after that was like a fake morgue.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That reminds
me. We had to put items in the door.
Yeah.
And when we got the right items, they would like take it and we'd get the next clue.
Yeah.
But they would like we kept getting it wrong, so they'd take the item and then put it back in and chuck it back out. So the doors would come like banging open. I'm just not enjoyable for me.
Yeah,
I was like, I just want like a regular puzzle. Like,
yeah. I've done so many escape rooms that weren't scary, and they were super
It was
fun.
a bad first experience for someone who doesn't enjoy being scared.
Well, let's do another one.
I like don't understand. I mean, there's a lot of people who like love horror movies and like love like that feeling, and I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna punch someone right now.
I don't like it.
Like, I'm just like literally like, and then like at night I'm just like, I have to protect Maisel.
It reminds me of one of the haunted houses that I went to in Niagara Falls, because there's like a bunch in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
But we went to the one that was supposed to be like the scariest in like Canada.
Oh no.
And it was expensive. It was like $60 a person. And I went with my friend and her brother, and her parents paid for us. And like, we couldn't even go in. Like, the first thing you had to do was walk down this dark hallway where you literally couldn't see anything. It was pitch black. You have to walk into pitch black, and none of us could do it. We just like turned around and left. Like, we didn't go through any of it at all.
I was that close to not going through this one.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. That's so funny. Like, I don't know if they switched the ones on King Street to like, because I think we went around Halloween too.
Oh yeah, they definitely switched them.
Stupid.
They definitely switched them.
Oh man. Anyways, okay. What else? That was Nashville. Now we're planning our trip to Halifax. Super excited.
Nice.
I started making kombucha.
How is it?
Well, that's funny people
It's not
keep
even
asking me that,
ready
but
yet?
the steps are like you make a tea with sugar in it.
Yeah.
You take the SCOBY and you put it in a jar and it sits there for like 10 days.
Oh, 10 days.
Something like 10 or 12.
So how many days you got left till you can try it?
4 or 5. So yeah, you basically you just put it in the jar and then it's like eating the sugar and fermenting and whatever. And then after 10 days, then you put it in a new bottle with like you can add more flavor to it. So mine is supposed to be a mint lavender tea.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to add, I think it was something like, I Googled like basil and strawberry or something, but my tea, it's blue.
Huh.
Like, I feel like I haven't bought a lot of kombucha that's blue.
That's cool though.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm going to bring it and you're going to try it.
Oh no.
Also,
I didn't sign up for this.
Gobies are disgusting. I already knew this.
I don't know if I want
It looks like a raw piece of chicken floating in fluid.
Ugh. I remember looking at it the last time you were here.
Yeah. Anyways.
Exciting.
Yeah. Making my own kombucha. Moving on. Do we want to read the question for photographers? It's a long one, but I feel like... All right. Is it normal for photographers to pick very few photos from a shoot? Hello, I hope this is allowed on here since I'm not a photographer, but I need help reasoning with a friend of mine. We're both in a band and we've done 2 to 3 photo shoots by now, and he's been in a band since he was a kid, so he's done a bunch more than I have. He still doesn't seem to understand why photographers take hundreds of photos and then pick very few out of the bunch. We've gotten multiple heated arguments about it, and his reasoning is that photographers should allow the bands to pick the photos, which I frankly think is really stupid because the reason we hire photographers in the first place is because they're professionals in a field we're both very unfamiliar with, and we don't seem to possess the creative vision that they do. I've already told him a bunch of things, such as it's hard to shoot in an uncontrolled environment when we're doing shoots outside. We don't know what they're doing, and we are not the photographers, so we should trust them more than ourselves. And sometimes pictures are unsalvageable for reasons beyond our understanding. So there's like a bit more of him like explaining his reasoning, but not anything more intense.
He sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked this one because I was like, this is such a normal thing for us to do that I would never, ever question not doing this or like not understanding it from like a client's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because like we both actually do it differently. So I thought it was a good question. I obviously know your answer, but...
What do you think my answer is?
Well, I feel like you give your clients a little bit more control because you'll edit more and give them the ability to select some.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm probably giving them the same amount as you and saying like, these are them.
Right.
In your scenario, they might feel like they have a bit more like control,
Mm-hmm.
and it might narrow it down and be like easier to be like, these are the ones I want. Whereas like with me, they just get, you know, all 60 or 80 or whatever.
Right.
But they might be left questioning like, why are there only 80? What happened to, like, this guy's question is like, what happened to the other 200 that you
Mm-hmm.
took?
Yeah. They're probably just exactly the same.
They're exactly the same. They're talking, they're blinking.
Yeah.
Like he's saying, like uncontrollable elements, like
Yeah.
the lighting was interesting or weird, or
Yeah.
one is, yeah, exactly better than the other.
Yeah.
But I guess he's also asking like why they don't get to go through like the raws and pick them. Have you ever done it that way?
With my landscaping stuff, I let them do that, but I don't have that many photos. Like
Right.
I'll set up the shot and I'll be like, here's the shot, this is the shot. And then I'll move. It's not like, here's the shot and here's like 5 others that are like this.
Yeah.
It's like I pick the one shot and they have a choice between like these 50 shots and they can pick 8.
Yeah.
So
It's similar but different.
similar. Yeah.
He writes, he like updates it and he says, here's an apology for him. Imagine letting a random, untrained fan pick which recording gets picked for the album.
Right.
Without regard to whether or not the musician thinks they got it right. Also, the chance that everyone else who also hears the album might think that the musician is a sloppy player or has no sense of time or pitch. The details matter for the photographer and the finished product. So like that's really cool how like he brought it back to like his
industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, it makes sense like both ways. It really depends on the situation. Mm-hmm. Like if they took like 100 different poses.
Yeah.
And like, if all the poses are extremely different and then they only deliver them 50, then I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see why he would be mad. Like, what happened to this photo? But like, that's not usually the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like the way he brings it back to like the music career. I'm like, oh, that makes even more sense because I feel like everybody likes music, but not everybody can tell what good music is. Like even just having this question right after having Briscoe on, like him explaining like some of the things that he does, like it's so interesting because I'm just like, I think more of an untrained eye can still like a photo.
For sure.
So I think even in our like line of work, it's like a little bit simpler.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people do ask, like, how many photos do I get? How many like, what is that based off of? And I'm always like, the more things happening, the more photos you'll get, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you just have a set package. Like, even for weddings, like, sometimes when I think we're delivering 1,000 photos, I'm like, that is too many photos.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It depends on what's going on.
Yeah. But anyways.
Cool.
I thought that was a cool, easy kind of question, but
yeah.
Also I just think like sometimes like the client perspective, like, you know, why do I only get so many even though you've been shooting and you took 600?
Yeah. I get that too. Like people don't like certain angles. Like if I chose one photo out of 10 that look exactly the same, they're not going to choose the same one that I chose.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But like, I can't just give them all the photos.
But I might also make the argument that, like, we're kinder about what that person looks like.
Yeah, but I don't know some of their insecurities all the time. And, like...
I remember that one of the first shoots that I did with you at Fieldwork, and you were like, why do you like this photo? Do you remember which one it was?
Of me and Keith?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. Do you?
Maybe I'll find it for this. But like, I remember you guys were like sitting and it was like really relaxed looking. And it was on, I think, the film camera. Or I took it digitally and I made it purposely like a little blurry or something. But I just remember having that conversation being like, why do you like this photo so much? And I was like, I don't know. It feels a certain way to me. Like,
true. Yeah,
feels like relaxed or something. But like, you also might be looking at it being like, I don't look good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like I would choose a photo based on composition more than like their facial features. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I generally like now that I do shoots for like moms, I'm like, does mom look good? Nobody else matters.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Like, I'm like, the mom is the one who scheduled, the mom is the one who did the outfits, the mom is the one who's, you know, like invested in this. So if she looks good, like who cares if the kid's got a weird look on their face? They're cute anyways. And like, you know, the mom's got to look good.
Yeah, that's true. Anything coming up for you?
I got a bunch of newborn shoots coming up.
Nice.
Yeah. It's slow but busy.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, oh, it could be slower.
Yeah, I'm pretty slow,
but
it's nice. I don't mind. I'm just focusing on like doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I have a call for a wedding March 20th and then just booked March 22. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, after that, I have one in April and then it just keeps going. And I'm like, that's in a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and my winter's over.
Yeah. Thank God. I'm sick of the snow.
No, I mean like my winter as in my slow season, not the cold, but yeah.
It's true. I like just went through all my weddings that I have this year because I keep telling people that I have like 2 or 3 booked, and then like people will start booking like throughout the year, and then like a week later I realized I have 7 weddings already booked this year.
That's
and I'm
crazy.
like, wow,
And it's
I
funny,
had more than I thought.
You will like literally tell people you're like, you never say like I'm a wedding photographer. You're like, I'm a photographer, and then you're like, I don't do that many weddings, and then 7 is like a regular amount of weddings to do.
Really?
I
No,
mean,
people like if they were wedding photographers, that'd be not enough.
no, it'd be not enough, but like also some people only take like 1 a month or 2 a month.
But they do other stuff.
Yeah, they'll do
I
like
do way more of other stuff, so like, that's why I wouldn't consider myself a wedding photographer.
right, but like I know like somebody who's like a mom of 2 who probably takes under 10. And
Is she a part-time photographer?
well, I think her kids, I think they go to school, maybe. I'm not sure. But like, it's just like, yeah, when you're a mom and that's like your job, like you're cutting the time. It's like obviously different.
Yeah.
But
As a full-time photographer, 10 weddings is nothing.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah. There's lots of like elopements too. There's like, I think 3 of them are elopements. One of them's just a wedding reception.
Nice.
And the rest are like full on. Yeah. I'm excited.
Full on.
Full on. One of them I need a second for.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
When is it?
July.
Probably busy.
True. It's a Friday.
I mean, I could tell you right now if you actually know the date.
I need a second because it's my cousin-in-law. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
And she's like, we want you to have fun, so bring a second.
That never works.
Sounds fun to me. July 25th. It's a Friday.
Oh, I have a wedding the 26th. I don't normally like to second before shooting a wedding,
True.
but there is a possibility if it's like, yeah,
It's at the
chiller.
Pearl. It'll probably be chill.
What? I don't even remember if I've shot at the Pearl.
Really?
Burlington?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. We should. Actually, it was really shocking that last year we did not second shoot a wedding together.
Yeah.
Because the year before we had done a couple. But
Yeah.
I think you mostly second shot for me out of pity because I was pregnant.
It's not out of pity. I will help you when you need help.
I know. I don't even ask you anymore. I'm like, I really should find somebody else.
If you need help, if you're in a pinch, let me know
I know.
if I'm free. Are you coming to my Survivor party tonight?
Yeah.
Nice. Season premiere.
I didn't fill out the form yet.
Fill it out after. Like you want to watch the
Oh.
first episode first. No one's filled it out yet.
I was like, oh no.
You're gonna pass the test. So funny.
Yeah.
Survivor party, and then I have 1 more week of golf, and then I go into my pottery.
Nice.
When do you start your pottery?
Oh, it's just one day.
Oh, okay.
Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's so funny because I went to Rooney's this morning, and I was telling her about this like potter that I love in Nashville, and she sells her mugs for like with tax and shipping. It would have been like $230 something to get here.
One mug?
For one mug.
Oh.
And I showed Katie the like mug that I love, and she was saying how Josh is starting to like paint mugs
Yeah.
because he's addicted to play with clay. And I was like,
I saw him there.
yeah. And I was like, well, me and Effie both get it.
Yeah.
I just feel like now I thrift for pottery, and I'm always like looking, and my algorithm on my Instagram is pottery.
Yeah. Same.
And I keep going to buy mugs, and I'm like, no, I'll just make one.
Yeah.
And then I got Sculpt, the hand molding clay kit.
Did you do it?
I haven't. I got it for like Ruben and I to do,
Nice.
but I've been a little bit like tired at night, so
Yeah.
probably because I started working out. So I was like, we'll have to plan like a specific day to like hang out
Yeah.
and, make space in the brain to like do it.
Yeah.
But I have all these like things saved to make. So
Fun.
yeah, I'm excited.
Nice.
Should be fun.
Okay, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's for lunch?
I don't have anything. I have to go to Costco.
I actually have
Probably
a
gonna go
phone
to Costco right now.
Nice. Right now.
Okay, bye.
Oh, bye. All right, where can they find you?
They can find me at Effie Edits Photo on Instagram.
Nice. And they can find me at DorothyMay_.
And also follow our podcast Instagram.
Yeah, because we're super hilarious.
Super hilarious. You can see our viral videos.
30 likes.
Edit Sesh Pod. Follow us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.